Blast from the grassroots, connecting people and sharing ideas.
Hey, this is Arlene.
Hi, this is Gowri.
And we are at our Blast from the Grassroots segment. Today we are going to talk about ASEAN. Actually, every Monday for our Blast for the Grassroots, we will put a spotlight on ASEAN. Anything ASEAN. So our top 10 or our can't miss list for ASEAN this week will be about travel destination.
Yeah, it's the first week of the month. And we're starting all fresh, all new, coming up with new exciting segments for our listeners. And today we will be focusing on travel.
Yeah, I mean, we Air Asia with the liberalization of the aviation, and you don't need to do your visa for any of the Southeast Asian country except, of course, for Myanmar. You can virtually travel anywhere in Southeast Asia and enjoy cheap but yet fulfilling
We sound like
destination.
Air Asia is actually sponsoring this segment for
We should have Asia sponsoring this for us.
Well, like they say, now everybody can fly, which is true. It's not just limited to certain people anymore. It's affordable for everybody, especially in terms of Southeast Asia. They always have special promotions, special discounts for our neighboring countries. And we are going to look at some of the places that should or has to be visited.
Yes. But before we start that, I think each of us should show like a bit of our preferences so that we are not biased. What is your top 3 favorite destination or places that you have been within Southeast Asia?
My number 1 will always be Solo, Indonesia.
What? Not Malaysia?
Well, we're talking about visiting outside Malaysia, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, I was there for 6 months for studies, and I went back there recently. There's just something about Solo that is just so beautiful, and when you're there, everything is just so relaxed, so calm. People there are so nice. Of course, the food is way too spicy for me, but apart from that,
It's Solo.
yeah, it is. Solo is just so beautiful.
So
and
you traveled to Solo?
No, not Solo.
Just kidding about it. But I've been to Solo. It is a beautiful place and it's culturally diverse. I saw one of your photo which show a private part of a person's body anatomy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, let's talk about something else besides Indonesia. Your second favorite destination?
Second favorite would probably have to be Manila. But I haven't been to Boracay yet. I've only been to Manila,
heard
but
about it.
Boracay is definitely a place that I want to visit. I am from Penang. I am used to the beaches, the waves, and that whole thing is just so beautiful. And I heard Boracay
You're an island girl,
is
in other
yeah,
words.
I am an island girl. Although I do tend to get seasick, which is so ironic. But and I think the third one will actually have to be Singapore, simply because of the Universal Studios. You just cannot not love the Universal Studios once you get in, especially because I've always wanted to be a filmmaker. So just being there, looking at all the different sets and props.
You just get inspired.
Yes, you do.
You just get inspired.
That whole street, that Broadway looking places, the lights, everything just makes me want to go and get my Oscar.
My favorite 3 places that I've been or I haven't been, but I would love to go. Number 1, I think, is definitely Myanmar. There's something charming about this country, even though number 1, of course, it's very secluded. Number 2, I've been there twice, and I felt it has this feeling that you are going back to 200 years before civilization, most probably. You felt that feeling that, this is the kind of country that is still untainted, is still a virgin, if you want to use that term, compared to other Southeast Asian country. And the people there are so nice, and the food there, not really, and not many people would like it because it's a bit oily. But to me, I love the simple food, especially their version of belacan, which is, they call it ngapi. And my second favorite destination would be Vietnam. There's something charming about Vietnam, especially the coffee culture. I felt that I can just sit on the roadside, sipping my Vietnamese coffee, reading a book, and admiring the seaport view. And life is just perfect. I think that it will be heaven to me, or paradise to me. And the third country that I haven't been yet, but I would love to go, is surprisingly, I don't know whether it's part of ASEAN or not, but I think they're still on the observer status. I would love to go to Timor-Leste. It's one of those countries that I felt it needs to be highlighted more, but it's still underdiscovered in a way. So on other lists that is being published in a lot of different websites, we try to choose more diverse website. One is more towards the backpacking side, another one is more towards those kind of must-see destination. So what do you have, Gowri?
I have this place in Thailand which is called Pai. It's kind of my list will be more of under the radar places that's never been talked about before. And this is actually what they call a hippie neighborhood, which is pretty much kind of plopped into the jungles. It's very hip, but it's in the jungle, and you can just ride your motorbike there. You can go into the mountains. You can just nap in a hammock in the middle of it. And there's also a little hut that you can stay in where they have a waterfall and a hot spring just nearby. And this is the place to go if you're looking for something very serene, just away from the city life. You're just being with nature, with the trees and the grass, and just being one with the environment around you.
Let's go off backpacking, Gowri.
Let's go.
Another place that I want to highlight is Laos. A lot of people may not know Laos as well as other countries within the Mekong River region, but Laos is actually quite a very underdeveloped country, to the extent that if you are the adventurous type, you love venturing in the village, in the mountainous area, going to rivers and jungle. Laos is definitely your place to go. And one of the places that you should go is Luang Prabang. So Luang Prabang is near to Thailand, of course, and it takes 2 days from the Mekong River, and it has a very picturesque town nestled on the river bank. And it has a bit of French influences as well as Vietnamese influences. That is the interesting part, because on the roadside you can find delicious bread and cheese stores, surprisingly, in the heart of a village in Laos.
That sounds interesting.
It is
they
interesting.
have little stalls that we don't really see in other countries. We always think that it's a Malaysian thing where we have all these makcik selling the kueh.
I know, right? And the most important thing is the view. The view, especially during sunset, is so beautiful. You can see literally the sun coming down from behind the hill. And those kind of view is really speechless if you look at it. Yeah,
Well, I have something
it.
that can actually beat that view.
Where is it?
And it's in Bagan, Myanmar. And you know how in Myanmar there are temples kind of just all over the place? Because
You sound
I'm not saying that
bad
as a
about
bad
it.
thing. No, I'm actually saying it as a good thing. They have temples everywhere, and their temples are different from ours because it's those really ancient structures. And what's really cool about Bagan is that you can actually take a hot air balloon ride over the temples, and you can do it like you were mentioning about the sunset. If you were to do it during the sunset, the view can be really, really beautiful.
Wow.
It's just this, too bad our listeners can't
Are
see
you
it,
sure
but
that is not CGI?
it's just
That photo that you showed to me right now?
the beautiful yellow, orange hue, and you're in this hot air balloon, and you see the silhouettes of the temple. It's just absolutely breathtaking.
To be very frank with you, Bagan was the only place that I never visited when I was in Myanmar. Is one of my biggest regret for not spending more time to travel all the way. It's like probably 16 hours or 10 hours from Yangon by bus all the way to
Wow.
Bagand.
That is a very long journey.
It is a very long journey, but it's somehow worth it. It is really worth it. At the end of the day, this is the kind of reason why people do backpacking in the first place. One place that I want to highlight, because my ancestor came from that particular area, is Lake Toba, Indonesia. Whenever we talk about Indonesia, the first place we have in mind is, of course, Bali.
Yeah.
Bali, and second would be the region within the Java Island, like for example the Solo region, the Solo place, the place called Solo that you mentioned. But a lot of people fail to see that the area of Sumatra have very interesting places as well, especially geological places. For example, Lake Toba, it is part lake, part volcano, and the interesting thing about this is this site is a super volcanic eruption area, and that can actually change the world's climate and can apparently wipe out most of humanity over 69,000. It actually happened over 69,000 years ago. So that is how crazy it is, the Lake Toba. And for you to go there, you will experience a very multicultural Sumatran people, especially the Batak people. You should spend some time at the Samosir Island and talk to these people, the Batak people, and enjoy the hot spring and the view of the giant lake.
Well, I'm still in Myanmar apparently. There is this place called the Mergui Archipelago, which is a bunch of tropical rainforest islands actually in the Andaman Sea. And you can actually check into a hotel nearby, and you can either go on a kayak or you can sail to these waters. And what's interesting is you will run into some sea gypsies who still live in that area, and they actually live on their boats, and they still dive for pearls and as their way of surviving. And it will be really nice to see them on the job. And also the island itself is really beautiful, and the water is pretty transparent that you can see pretty much all the way through.
Perhaps majority of Southeast Asian beaches have those kind of very transparent looking clear blue seawater. And one place that I really love is in the Philippines. One thing clear about the Philippines is it has a lot of really beautiful islands, and some of them have really beautiful beaches. And one of it, of course, is El Nido. It's a place that you can find it in your Lonely Planet book. But what is interesting about El Nido is one of those islands that you want to be there because it has clear turquoise color sea, and then you have white sand, and then a lot of coconut tree, and at the end of the day you just want to spell the word paradise when you stay at El Nido. And because of that, being in that island itself, you want to actually do a bit of beach camping rather than staying in a hut. You want to have your own camping site and maybe some mosquito net on it. So it's definitely a beautiful place.
And if you're looking for a little adventure, especially if you love hiking, there is this place called Sapa in Vietnam. And according to this article, it says there's really nowhere on earth like Sapa. That is a major compliment to this place. And the thing is, it has so many tiers of bright green rice fields, like what you see most of the time when you're like on the highway here. And these are actually dotted with colorful clothes of hill tribe dwellers and roofs of French colonial villas.
Wow.
So just
French
imagine
colonial.
a huge area of tiered green fields, and then you have little French villas at just spread around the whole place. So it's more of like a very cozy, a warm, kind of jungly, but also kind of very homely in a way. And of course you can also go hiking, which is great. And the view is also beautiful for this one.
it definitely sounds beautiful to me.
I will
But
not show you the picture just to make sure that you go there and see it yourself.
I can imagine it already. The next country that I want to highlight is a country that we seldom really talk about, but I still want to talk about it. Is Brunei.
Okay.
So the whole of Brunei, Darussalam, Sri Begawan, is really different from the rest of Southeast Asia, partly because it has a monarchy and it is definitely having Islam as its core foundation of its country. But one thing beautiful about this country is the people there are definitely not backward thinking. It is very forward thinking, and you can find tranquility and peacefulness within the city itself. So if you are the city traveler sort of traveler, you would want to go through to Brunei and experience the religious and cultural values of the country. But at the same time, you can still enjoy what city dwellers would usually do, which is shopping, going to malls, and going to just walk around the city. So yeah, Brunei is the place to go. And of course, from Brunei, you can always easily go to Sarawak and go to the nearest town, which is Miri. They often have their yearly rainforest festival. So there you go, 2 in 1.
Right, killing two birds with one stone.
From Brunei all the way to Sarawak Miri and experience the rainforest festival.
And that takes place in June or July every year, the music festival. And moving on to Thailand now, we have a place called Mai Sot, which is described as perfectly remote. And this is actually at the border of Thailand and Myanmar. So the crowd here is are made up of a very interesting mix between Burmese, Thai, hill tribe natives, and also Westerners who are making visa runs. And it's a very diverse crowd, and they have all these little stalls that they set up, and they sell various different things according to their culture, their own heritage. And also the locals here actually hang out at the town's herbal sauna and open air markets, and visitors can actually get a kick out of adorable furry rescued apes that they have at the Highland Farm Gibbon Sanctuary. So you have open air markets, you have a herbal sauna, you have a very diverse mix of crowd, and you also have adorable monkeys to visit at this place. So yeah, you should definitely go for it.
Yeah. If you notice, we didn't really highlight Thailand, partly because Thailand is actually the most widely visited destination in Southeast Asia. So we felt that probably everyone knows where Thailand is, what to do in Thailand, especially having Thai food is world famous. We want travelers to go to places within Southeast Asia that tourists usually would never think about it. And of course, if you want to follow the statistic of or the numbers of tourist arrival in Southeast Asia, Thailand definitely has surpassed Malaysia, and Malaysia is the second highest number of tourists visiting, and the third ranking is Singapore with 15.5 million arrivals. While Indonesia, Vietnam, and Philippines have, and also Cambodia have an average visitors from all around the world, while unfortunately Laos, which is a booming country, enjoy quite a relatively good boom in tourism, although it's not as much. Anyway, the countries that are still not yet well discovered is definitely Myanmar, which you highlighted a lot in our conversation earlier, and of course Brunei. And in fact, among all Southeast Asian countries, Brunei is the one that is somehow struggling to gain tourists to visit, especially they have the Sharia law, somehow that this sort of story really put down a lot of people to visit there. So that's all from our news of traveling destination. I hope you enjoy our Blast from the Grassroots. You can always give your comment or connect with us on Facebook and Twitter.
And also, we have a YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe to that one. And if you're on the move and you want to listen to us, just download the TuneIn app on your smartphone and look for Durian ASEAN.
So next week, we will have another list of ASEAN, anything ASEAN.
Right, so don't forget to tune into that one as well. We'll be back later for our ABC Dialogue for our Monday morning.